I'm Ellie. I gamed over 10 years in China and over 10 years here in Australia. In this video, I'm not here to compare or judge, just to share what's actually like growing up across two different cultures, what's different, what's surprisingly similar, and how it's shaped the way I play. If you're first time here, my channel is me talking about games, tech gadgets, and sometimes I get into real chats like this. If that sounds like your thing, check a like and hit the subscribe and the bell so you don't miss future updates. A quick disclaimer before we start. Let's start with the setting. In China, gaming used to center around the old school internet cafes. If you've been to one, you'll know the vibe. Rows of glowing screens, keyboards going off like machine guns, mates yelling across the room, and the classic combo, instant noodles and a bubble tea on standby. After school or work, you'd meet your mates, park yourself for hours, and get stuck into League, Naraka, Dota, whatever you were grinding at the time. Doesn't matter you had a solid setup at home, the cafe had this raw energy you couldn't really recreate. It was competitive, social, and just a little bit cooked in its best way. I have to also mention this. Gaming hotels? Yep, full-on hotels just for gaming. You walk into your own private room, comfy bed, blackout curtains, multiple monitors, RTX graphics card, gaming chair, fiber internet, the lot. It's all set up and ready to go. They're everywhere in the big cities. Great if you're traveling with mates, prepping for a comp, or just need a break from reality and want to disappear into a few days of solid gaming. Actually, I stayed in one for 5 nights. It's kind of like combining a LAN party with room service. Zero regrets. If you're curious what that looked like, I've chucked together a video on it. Feel free to check it out after this. Compare that to gaming in Australia. It's a whole different pace. Here, most people play from home. You're stretched out on the couch or sitting at your desk. The environment's relaxed. Maybe your dog's curled up next to you or you've got a snack and a drink going. It's more private, more flexible. You're doing your own thing. Whether it's a competitive shooter, a story-heavy single player, or a chill farming sim, the experience feels more laid back and often more personal. In China, the default gaming platforms are PC and mobile. It's just how things evolved. Part of it goes back to history. Home consoles like PlayStation and Xbox were actually banned for a long time. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, China's parents were very focused on education. But at that time, real computers were expensive and hard to get. That's when a company called Subor launched the Subor Learning Machine, and it had learning in the name, but in reality, it was basically a clone of the Nintendo Famicom. Their marketing was very smart. They advertised it as a tool to learn typing, English, and basic programming, so parents felt good about buying it for their kids. But what kids actually did was play games. Plug in a cartridge and you could play Contra, Super Mario, Tank Battle, Double Dragon, classic 8-bit games that became childhood memories for a whole generation. I'd say it also played a huge part in kickstarting gaming culture inside Chinese homes. Later, the internet cafes exploded in popularity. Then, when smartphones became mainstream, mobile gaming took off too. Games like Honor of Kings and PUBG Mobile are everywhere. On the train, in cafes, during lunch breaks, gaming became something you could do anytime, anywhere. Australia though, you have your PC gamers, people into Valorant, Fortnite, or hardcore MMOs, but consoles are just as big, if not bigger, in everyday life. PlayStations, Xboxes, Switches, you'll find at least one in most households. It's super normal to walk into someone's living room and see a PS5 sitting under the TV, maybe a pile of controllers on the coffee table, and a Mario Kart session happening after dinner. Even casual players here might have a Switch for family nights or a PS5 for FIFA battles with mates. The most popular games are intense and often free to play in China. Think League of Legends, Honor of Kings, PUBG, MMOs, MOBAs, shooters, games you are climbing ranks, unlocking gears, grinding for new skins. There is a strong esports culture too. Tournaments are huge events. And top players are treated almost like celebrities. Progression systems in these games run deep. In Australia, the gaming tastes feel broader and a bit more relaxed. Sure, you have your competitive communities, people grinding FIFA sessions, NBA 2K, running Call of Duty squads, and smashing out the Fortnite matches. A lot of people in Australia grew up gaming solo or co-op on consoles rather than grinding online ladders. It is common that people love for single-player, narrative-driven experiences. Games like The Last of Us, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, where the story, characters, and emotional experience are front and center. There's also a huge love for creative and cozy games, Stardew Valley, Minecraft, Animal Crossing. I am not sure about other countries, but in my eyes, Aussie gamers often lean toward immersion, storytelling, and creativity over pure competition and grind. How game is seen is different in two different cultures. In China, it's definitely getting better now. But for a long time, gaming carried a kind of stigma, especially when we were growing up. It wasn't seen as normal hobby like drawing or playing violin. It was often labeled as a waste of time or even something dangerous. Something that you could ruin your life. Parents, teachers, even society at large pushed this heavy expectation. Study hard, get good grades, get into a good university. Gaming didn't fit into that picture. So if you loved games and you often had to hide it, you'd quickly close your PC when your parents walked in. You'd hearing things like, "You're playing games again. Don't you have exams comes up?" It wasn't about hating games. It was about survival in a system that measured success by your academic results. In Australia, the vibe is really different. Gaming is much more accepted, just another way to relax. Your 52-year-old executive manager might even ask what you are playing because he was grinding Diablo over weekend. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to feel guilty about it. You are not treated as you are throwing your life away just because you enjoy games. Instead, gaming is just a part of normal everyday life. It is a hobby like drawing and play violin. The online behaviors feels different too, and it's really changed the whole vibe when you play. In China, everything moves at lightning speed. It's very text-driven. People type insanely fast. You'll see walls of text full of slang, memes, in-jokes, and roasts that are honestly so creative, you can't even be mad when you're the target. The wit is sharp, the replies are instant, and the atmosphere can feel a bit chaotic, but also hilarious if you can keep up. Voice chat, much less common. A lot of players prefer to stay anonymous behind a username and a keyboard. It's not unfriendly, it's just that the culture leans more towards text battles than voice conversations. In Australia, it's a different scene. Voice chat is way more casual and way more common. You'll often hear people bantering mid-game, throwing out comments like, "Bro, you just headshot me." Aussies roast each other too, but it's usually softer, laced with humor, not meant to escalate into a serious argument. The pace is slower overall, less typing, more chill conversations, more people just hanging out while they play. Policies shape how people play too, not just what games are available, but how people experience gaming day to day. In China, especially for underage players, the rules are tight. There are strict time limits. Officially, since 2021, the authorities have cracked down hard on online gaming, stipulating that minors could play games for a maximum of 3 hours per week, and only on weekends and public holidays.
You have to log in with your real name and ID number, and it's not just about screen time, it's also about the content itself. Games have to be reviewed and approved before release. You won't see skeletons, realistic blood, or anything considered politically sensitive. If a game doesn't meet the guidelines, it gets edited, or doesn't release at all. The goal is to keep gaming healthy and aligned with certain social values, especially for younger players.
In Australia, it's much looser. There is an age rating system like PG, M, MA15+, R18+, to guide what is appropriate for different age groups. No logging restrictions, no daily time caps. If you want to pull an all-nighter grinding a new release, you can. If you want to play a horror or gore game full of skeletons or blood, you can. Okay, that's it. So early on, gaming felt like a race, always chasing the next achievement. Now it feels more like a journey to me. So how's gaming where you are? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear. And if you enjoyed this, hit a like, subscribe, and I'm Ellie. I'll see you next time.